Hey everyone, I'm Kerlunkus. Welcome back to another episode of Haunted Gaming Revisited. This time, we're going to be taking a look at a Fallout creepypasta, first one we're going to be doing. And as a personal fan of the Fallout games, you might have seen a stream or two, this is Fallout 2 Secret Ending. Personally, I've never played Fallout 2, but I'm interested to see what the secret ending has to offer. So, that being said, we're going to get right into Fallout 2 Secret Ending. In Fallout 2, after you beat the game, you can continue playing. Remember that defunct vault near the beginning? The one with the toxic sludge on the ground and the elevator where you kill golden geckos? It's called Toxic Caves on the world map, but it is clearly a very small vault, with 3 levels including the first cave level, where you take a ladder down to the actual vault structure. Well, if you have one of the original pressings of the game and you have not patched it, you can return to the Toxic Caves after the game is over, and if you have the item Heart Pills from the Weston Murder Quest, you can kill yourself in the elevator. After the usual death scene plays, the screen will stay black without the menu screen opening up. After several minutes, you will begin to hear a hollow, echoey, Brownian noise, cave sort of sound. The screen will slowly fade back in to find your character in a pile of that nasty biomass goo that was all around the master from the first game. Your character will stand up and the usual ambient soundtrack will start playing, but the brown noise will still be there. Explore this new level, but do not pick any locks. Those areas are off limits, and developers put some very nasty programming tricks into the code to protect their secrets. As you continue farther into the level, you will hear the Brownian noise continue to increase in volume, and the ambient soundtrack you are so used to will exhibit strange artifacts. This may be because of the difficulty of playing 2 music tracks simultaneously in the Fallout engine, which wasn't designed to be able to do this. Passing locked door after locked door, you will come upon many of the characters you met earlier in the game. Oddly, you'll only find characters that died, or that would reasonably be expected to die after you last saw them. Like the official endings, the characters found vary depending on how you played the game. If you were the good guy and tried to solve problems without violence, you will only find a few bad guys and unfortunate victims here. If you slaughtered every town, you will see several hundred characters. Regardless of what you did earlier, none of the characters will speak to you or react to you in any action or any way. They can't be pickpocketed, killed, pushed aside, or healed. If you try to use first aid, doctor, or any healing items on them, the game will tell you in the text box, "It's much too late for that, Chosen." It would appear that this area is purgatory or possibly hell based on being populated entirely by dead characters. The final character standing just before the final door is always a player character model from the first Fallout. This is the only character you can interact with, and as you approach, the Brownian noise reaches a crescendo and the ambient music abruptly cuts out. If you simply bypass him, then open the door, the game will play the end credits once again, only with pictures of Hiroshima and Nagasaki victims in the background. This is in extreme poor taste, and many have wondered why the creators would be so insensitive. When asked, they deny the sequence exists and call it a hack that was never in the game at all. After it ends, you are greeted with a typical game over screen and are booted to the desktop. If you talk to the final character, he will explain that he is in fact the vault dweller from the original game, your ancestor. He will tell you that he is disappointed in the way you turned out, and he will turn his back on you, and your character will collapse into a pile of bones, in a death animation that I've never seen in the game itself. Afterwards, the game will fade to white and lock up the computer, forcing a hard reset. There is a third option. Those locked doors I mentioned earlier, there's one door. It's always random as to which door, but if you get lucky in picking, you can use any heavy explosive to blow it open. Inside, you will find a single footlocker holding a 10mm pistol with no clip in the picture and no ammo in it. None of your normal 10mm ammo can be used. You can load the gun with the Easter egg found in the basement of New Rental Arms. Fire this into the head of the final character and the game will cut to an over-the-shoulder video showing a young man playing an unidentified Fallout-like game. Some people claim that this is an early version of either Fallout Tactics or Van Buren, but nothing on the screen seems to fit either of those games. Also, neither of those games had started development at the time of the original pressing of Fallout 2. The video itself is poorly lit, with the apparent intention of being a creepy filter, but nothing spooky actually happens in the video. The man simply plays the unknown game, and the video slowly fades into your desktop. A cool trick. I'm not really sure how they managed to gradually translucent screen back then. Another strange trick is that according to many players, the final character always matches the character they most recently played in Fallout 1. Both gender and their apparel at the end of the previous game are represented. At first this would appear to be a safe game hack, much like Psycho Mantis and Metal Gear Solid, but the trick works even if the original Fallout was played on a different computer without transferring any data to the new PC. It's recommended that you do not turn on any televisions in your house for several hours after experiencing this extra ending. You will quickly realize that the Brownian noise in the game is identical to the noise now coming from your television, cable, satellite, and even antenna, if you still have that, are all somehow capable of picking up a signal for some time after the secret ending. All internet connections, however, seem to still work. That's how I'm writing this to you now. Funny thing is, I turned my television off nearly an hour ago, as well as my computer speakers, but I still hear the static getting louder. Okay, this one is a bit on the weaker side here. While shorter and not as lengthy as other stories, I'll admit it has a nice premise and I like the way it builds up, but there are way too many problems pointing out of the story itself. Length doesn't necessarily make a creepypasta good, it's the pacing and the plot that really does it. Fallout typically has very unsettling atmospheres, and while I've only played the newer games such as 3, New Vegas, and 4, I'd imagine it to be just a bit more creepy from the old isometric angles and old graphics, rather than a first-person view. It still manages to come off as unsettling with the visuals, and I like the detail of your playstyle determining how many of those ghosts, I guess, would be in the secret area. As for the video towards the end that fades to white on the desktop or whatever, this was also a bit creepy, in my opinion. It was another creepy thing. I can only imagine seeing something like that after performing an obscure sequence of events, which, by the way, the writing for the story, it was a bit shitty. There's a lot of grammatical errors, a few sentences that don't make much sense, and whatever the fuck happened here, to name a few. The one thing I also kind of liked was the brown noise, which, if you've never heard before, sounds like this. Not very intimidating, is it? Quite frankly, I could fall asleep to it. Anyways, onto the problems of this story. Number 1. What in the goddamn Kentucky Fried Fuck are these nasty programming tricks behind the locked doors? Viruses? That's my best guess. Number 2. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Are you fucking kidding me? In a Fallout creepypasta? And the devs pass it off as a hack? That's almost as stupid as playing tag with a rock. Or playing Borderlands 1. Number 3. The instructions to load the 10mm pistol, hell, even finding the damn thing, are so busted. Like, seriously, what does any of this mean? Maybe it's because I've never played Fallout 2, but I've got no clue. I struggle reading it. If anybody else knows, leave a comment. And finally, number 4, the Fallout 1 player character looking exactly the same as the player's Fallout 1 save, even on a computer that doesn't have Fallout 1. That would still have the same appearance and peril. That's just impossible. There's no way in hell that would be technically possible. That the files, like, that needs to be there. And as for the devices all blaring the brown noise towards the end of the story, I would find that a bit chilling, since signals like that can be hijacked with enough effort, and even as soft as the brown noise is, I'd still be a bit freaked out if everything in my house was making that noise. So anyways, that was Fallout 2's secret ending. If you like this story, good for you. I personally didn't, so that's why my critique was a bit harsher this time around. Just the way I do things, folks. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what other stories you'd like to hear next down below. Dislike it if you disliked it. This is me, Kerlunkus, and I'm out. Oh, and by the way, there actually is a secret ending for Fallout 2, like an actual one, and it's not the one mentioned in the creepypasta. This is my way of saying thanks to Ethan for giving me the gameplay and editing it to me. So, thanks, bro. Anyways, yeah, here's the actual secret ending. So, editor, play that shit.
Hey, want to listen to some tunes?
Hey there, thanks for watching Fallout 2's Secret Ending. We got another episode of Haunted Gaming Revisited over on my channel. Feel free to click the link on screen or check out the playlist. I hope to see you there.
As you continue farther into the level, you will hear the Brownian noise continue to increase in volume, and the ambient soundtrack you are so used to... Oh, shit. As you continue farther into the level, you will hear the Brownian noise continue to decrease.